This is All India Radio. I am Nishit Kumar and with me is Reshma Tiwari with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says property cards under Swamitva scheme will bring historic changes in villages besides making people self-reliant. Government did more for villages in 6 years than what was done in earlier 6 decades, says Prime Minister. CBI takes over investigation of Hathras incident, registers case against the accused. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 86.17%. In French Open, Rafael Nadal to take on Novak Djokovic in the men's singles titles clash today. And in IPL, Sunrisers Hyderabad to face Rajasthan Royals at Dubai and Mumbai Indians to clash with Delhi Capitals in Abu Dhabi. As the nation fights the COVID-19 pandemic, we begin with a message of precaution to stay safe and protected by following these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today virtually launched the physical distribution of property cards under the Swamitva scheme to transform rural India and empower millions of people. Survey of villages and mapping with improvised technology in village areas. Swamitva is a central sector scheme which was launched in April this year with an aim to provide the record of rights to village household owners in rural areas and issue property cards. Mr. Modi said the villagers will get the legal rights of their houses through property cards which will help them further to avail loans from banks and other financial facilities. He said the initiative will prevent illegal capturing of their properties. Prime Minister congratulated lakhs of people who have got the ownership letters or property cards of their homes, saying this will bring historic changes in the villages of the country. He said today the country has taken another major step towards Atmanirbhar Bharat.
आज आपको जो अधिकार मिला है, मेरी बहुत बधाई है आपको। ये अधिकार एक प्रकार से कानूनी दस्तावेज है। आपका घर आप ही का ही है। आपके घर में आप ही रहेंगे, आपके घर का क्या उपयोग करना इसका निर्णय आप ही करेंगे। न सरकार उसको कुछ दखल कर सकती है, न अड़ोस पड़ोस के लोग कर सकते हैं। ये योजना हमारे देश के गांवों में ऐतिहासिक परिवर्तन लाने वाली है।
Mr. Modi said the ownership plan is going to help a lot in making the people living in the village self-reliant. He said there are so many youth in the village who want to do something on their own, but they face many problems in getting loan from the bank in the name of their houses. Prime Minister said by showing the property card, now it is very easy to get loans from banks. The Prime Minister said the amount of work which has been done in the 6 years, it was not done even in the last 6 decades.
जितना काम पिछले 6 वर्षों में किया गया है, उतना आजादी के 6 दशकों में भी नहीं हुआ। 6 दशक तक गांव के करोड़ों लोग बैंक खातों से वंचित थे। ये खाते अब जाकर के खुले हैं। 6 दशक तक गांव के करोड़ों लोगों के घर में बिजली का कनेक्शन नहीं था। आज हर घर तक बिजली पहुंच चुकी। 6 दशक तक गांव के करोड़ों परिवार शौचालय से वंचित थे। आज घर घर में शौचालय भी बन गए हैं। साथियों, दशकों तक गांव का गरीब गैस कनेक्शन के लिए सोच भी नहीं सकता था। आज गरीब के घर भी गैस कनेक्शन पहुंच गया है।
Mr. Modi said he is happy that such a huge work is being done today on the birth anniversary of 2 great sons of India, Bharat Ratna Loknayak Jayaprakash Narayan and Bharat Ratna Nanaji Deshmukh. The PM said only people who have lost the source of black money due to agricultural reforms are opposing them.
आज कृषि क्षेत्र में जो सुधार हुए हैं, उससे जिन्हें किसानों को लगता था, लेकिन आज 1.5 गुना MSP हमने करके दिखाया, वो नहीं कर पाए थे। छोटे किसानों, पशुपालकों, मछुआरों को किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड मिलने से जिनकी काली कमाई का रास्ता बंद हो गया है, उनको आज समस्या हो रही। यूरिया की नीम कोटिंग से जिनके गैर कानूनी तौर तरीके बंद हो गए, दिक्कत उन्हें हो रही है। किसानों के बैंक खाते में सीधा पैसा पहुंचने से जिनको परेशानी हो रही है, वो आज बेचैन है। किसान और खेत मजदूर को मिल रही बीमा, पेंशन, ऐसी सुविधाओं जिनको परेशानी है, वो आज कृषि सुधारों का विरोध करने में लगे हुए हैं।
The Prime Minister said experts from all over the world have been insisting that the ownership of land and house plays a big role in the development of the country. He said when there is a record of property, citizens gain confidence and new avenues for investment open up. Prime Minister said in the last 6 years, continuous work is being done to remove chronic shortages. He said today, without any discrimination in the country, everyone is developing and getting benefits of schemes with complete transparency. During the event, the Prime Minister interacted with some of the beneficiaries who have been provided with the property cards.
राम मिलन जी, जब आपको अपने घर का मालिकाना हक, आपके यहाँ उसको घरौनी कहते हैं, जब ये घरौनी मिल गया है तो पूरे परिवार को, आपको इसका क्या असर पड़ेगा?
बहुत खुशी की बात है साहब कि ये घरौनी मिल गई है। जो पास पड़ोस के विवाद रहे थोड़े बहुत वो खत्म हो गए हैं और इससे हम कर्ज ले सकते हैं, अपना व्यवसाय बढ़ा सकते हैं।
नहीं, पहले आपको अपने घर या जमीन को लेकर किस प्रकार की समस्याएं आती थी, क्या मुसीबत आती थी?
सर मेरे पास कोई कागज नहीं था, अब पक्का कागज मौजूद मिल गया है।
These 1 lakh property holders are from 763 villages across 6 states, including 346 from Uttar Pradesh, 221 from Haryana, 100 from Maharashtra, 44 from Madhya Pradesh, 50 from Uttarakhand and 2 from Karnataka. Some of the beneficiaries also availed the loan from banks through property cards. The beneficiaries profusely thanked the Prime Minister and appreciated the move. Speaking on the occasion, Rural Development Minister Narendra Singh Tomar said unprecedented work has been done by the government and the Prime Minister Narendra Modi for unprecedented development in rural areas. He said several works have been done for providing road connectivity, LPG gas connection under Ujjwala scheme and electricity under Saubhagya Yojana.
प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड का उपयोग भी सुनिश्चित हो जाए और उसका भी शुभारंभ हो जाए और हर व्यक्ति ये एहसास करे कि अगर गांव में मेरा मकान है तो ये शहर के किसी मकान से कम कीमत वाला नहीं है। इसे सुनिश्चित करने के लिए आपके नेतृत्व में मुख्यमंत्री गणों के प्रयत्न से आज हमारे कुछ हितग्राही हैं जिनको इनका जो प्रॉपर्टी कार्ड है उस पर बैंक लोन भी देने का काम कर रहा है। इससे निश्चित रूप से ग्रामीण क्षेत्र में निवास करने वाले हमारे बंधुओं में विश्वास भी जागृत होगा, उनकी प्रॉपर्टी भी बढ़ेगी, प्रॉपर्टी का उपयोग भी होगा और उनके परिवार में जो नई पीढ़ी आ रही है अगर आगे कुछ काम करना चाहती है तो यह प्रॉपर्टी उसके विकास में भी निश्चित रूप से काम आएगी।
In Haryana, the rural residents have welcomed the physical distribution of Sampati or property cards under the Swamitva scheme launched by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. Expressing their reactions to AIR correspondents in Karnal, Panchkula and Bhiwani, they said that the initiative will transform their lives and empower them financially to take loans against the property. They said that the scheme has also ended the fear of encroachment of their houses.
मैं गांव खेड़ी जिला पंचकुला का रहने वाला हूं। आज मुझे मेरी जमीन का रजिस्ट्री मिली है जो नरेंद्र मोदी का मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं और इसमें मुझे आगे लोन लेने में लाभ मिलेगा। मैं जिम्मेदारी का काम करता हूं खेती बाड़ी का और इसमें मैं अपना जमीन का खेती करने के लिए अपना ट्रैक्टर वगैरह का लोन ले सकता हूं और इससे मुझे बहुत लाभ होगा। मैं नरेंद्र मोदी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं।
The Deputy Commissioner of Karnal, Mr. Nishant Kumar Yadav, said that under the scheme, 13 villages of the district have become Lal Dora free. He said that the Sampati card contains physical details of the residents. He said that rural people are happy because they have got ownership of their houses on the pattern of cities. In Uttar Pradesh, people in rural areas are very much happy and enthused by the launch of Swamitva scheme and distribution of property cards. The people say property cards under the Swamitva scheme will empower and change the lives of millions of people. One of the beneficiaries in Pilibhit district, Vipin Kumar, said that this scheme will eradicate land and property disputes in villages.
मैं विपिन कुमार ग्राम नारायणपुर जमीमा पूरनपुर जनपद पीलीभीत का निवासी हूं। प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने आज जिस स्वामित्व योजना का शुभारंभ किया है वो हम ग्रामीणों के लिए काफी अच्छी साबित होगी। हमें घर का मालिकाना हक मिलेगा और इससे घर पर बैंक से कर्ज भी ले सकेंगे। गांव में विवाद भी खत्म होगा, इससे हम सब चिंता मुक्त जी सकेंगे और गांव का विकास भी बिना किसी झंझट के होगा।
The Central Bureau of Investigation (CBI) has taken over the investigation of Hathras incident and registered a case against the accused. In a statement, CBI said a team has been constituted to probe the case. The agency said the complainant had alleged that on 14 September, the accused tried to strangulate his sister in a millet field. The case has been registered by CBI on request of the Uttar Pradesh government and further notification from the central government. Home Ministry has asked states and union territories to complete probe in rape cases within 2 months of the reporting of an incident. It said any failure on the part of police to adhere to the mandatory requirements in crime against women will be inquired and necessary action will be taken against the officers concerned. In a fresh advisory by Home Ministry, states and UTs have also been asked to monitor the cases on the investigation tracking system for sexual offences to ensure that suitable action is taken on the charge sheet of the accused in a timely manner. Home Minister said there should be compulsory registration of an FIR in case of a cognizable offence under the CRPC.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu today paid tributes to socialist leader and freedom fighter Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan on his birth anniversary. In a tweet, Mr. Naidu said, JP's crusade to protect democracy and fight corruption has left an indelible mark on the minds of people. He said JP's call to the youth to fight against injustice and atrocities had inspired him personally to join public life when he was a student leader. Vice President also paid rich tributes to the great social worker and visionary leader Nanaji Deshmukh on his birth anniversary today. Mr. Naidu said Nanaji devoted his entire life in the service of the nation. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has bowed to Lok Nayak Jayaprakash Narayan and Nanaji Deshmukh on their Jayanti today. In a series of tweets, he said Jayaprakash Narayan valiantly fought for India's freedom, and when the democratic ethos was under attack, he led a strong mass movement to protect it, and for him, there was nothing above national interest and people's welfare. Remembering Bharat Ratna recipient Nanaji Deshmukh, Prime Minister said the great Nanaji Deshmukh was one of Lok Nayak JP's most devout followers. He worked tirelessly to popularize JP's thoughts and ideals. Mr. Modi said Nanaji Deshmukh's work towards rural development motivates people. You are listening to the Midday News on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says property cards under Swamitwa scheme will bring historic changes in villages besides making people self-reliant. Government did more for villages in 6 years than what was done in earlier 6 decades, says Prime Minister. CBI takes over investigation of Hathras incident, registers case against the accused. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 86.17%. In French Open, Rafael Nadal to take on Novak Djokovic in the men's singles title clash today. And in IPL, Sunrisers Hyderabad to face Rajasthan Royals at Dubai and Mumbai Indians to clash with Delhi Capitals in Abu Dhabi. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
India has achieved the landmark of more than 60 lakh recoveries from COVID-19 infection. Health Ministry said that this has also sustained India's leading position globally as the country with maximum recovered cases. The top 5 states, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, with maximum caseload are also contributing more than half of the total recoveries. The minister said that the country's COVID-19 recovery rate has improved to 86.17%. More than 89,000 COVID patients have recovered during the last 24 hours. The total number of recoveries has reached over 60,77,000. The steadily increasing recoveries ensure that the actual COVID caseload of the country is considerably reduced and currently comprises only 12.30% of the total positive cases. Presently, the total number of active cases in the country is 8,67,000. Currently, India's case fatality rate is at 1.54%, which is one of the lowest globally. In the last 24 hours, 74,383 new cases have been reported in the country, taking the total number of positive cases to over 70 lakh. Telangana state has reported 1,717 new COVID-19 cases during the past 24 hours. With this, the total COVID cases in the state has gone up to 2,12,063. The state has conducted over 46,000 tests yesterday. The recovery rate has also improved to 87.29%, with 2,103 more people recovering yesterday. This took the number of recovered people so far in the state to 1,85,128. Meanwhile, the daily bulletin issued by the State Medical and Health Department this morning stated that the total deaths rose to 1,222, following 5 more people succumbing during the past 24 hours.
In Puducherry, the number of COVID-19 new cases has shown a declining trend for the last few days. More from our correspondent.
Today, 320 persons were tested positive for the coronavirus disease and 4 died, leaving 4,695 active cases here. 336 more persons were discharged from various hospitals of the 4 regions and 4 persons died. Presently, 1,662 are being treated in hospitals and another 3,033 positive cases are under home isolation in the Union Territory. So far, 31,549 persons are infected by the virus, of which 21,291 were treated and discharged and 563 died, leaving 4,695 active cases here. Chandramohan, Air News, Puducherry.
Puducherry Lieutenant Governor Dr. Kiran Bedi has appealed to the people to follow honestly the 3 steps tweeted by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi to fight coronavirus.
Please be careful. Keep the mask on, maintain social distance and keep personal hygiene. Your health now is in your hands and others' health is also in your hands. That means we have to protect each other now. It's a very challenging time, but if we all respect each other's health, we will protect our own and also the others. I wish you all a very good health.
Head of the Neurosciences Department of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, Dr. Padma Srivastava says that masking, sanitization and distancing is the need of the hour if we have to fight this pandemic. Dr. Srivastava told AIR News that people have to be more careful in view of the festival season.
The need of the hour right now to combat the COVID pandemic is what has been promulgated by our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji. So eloquently said that actually the vaccine that we have right now is MSD, masking, sanitization and distancing.
In Bihar Assembly elections, a large number of voters have been provided with the right to exercise their franchise through postal ballots in view of COVID-19. Right to use postal ballots has been provided to voters of 80 years or above, people with disabilities, PWD, and COVID-19 patients. Additional Chief Electoral Officer Sanjay Kumar Singh said that 10.85 lakh old age voters have been provided this right.
हमारे पास 80 वर्ष से ज्यादा उम्र के 10,85,000 मतदाता हैं और ये पोस्टल बैलेट की सुविधा उन्हें भी है जिस प्रकार से पीडब्ल्यूडी वोटर्स को। पीडब्ल्यूडी वोटर्स के लिए बहुत सारे इंतजाम हैं। एक तो उनके लिए पोस्टल बैलेट की सुविधा है और जिसकी प्रक्रिया यह है कि जो वोटर हैं उनको नॉमिनेशन की पहली तिथि जो होती है, जिस दिन अधिसूचना निर्गत होती है, उसके 5 दिन के अंदर अपने बीएलओ के माध्यम से पोस्टल बैलेट के लिए एप्लीकेशन, एक फॉर्म है 12D, उसमें देना होता है। जैसे ही अब आप देंगे तो आपको पोस्टल बैलेट इशू कर दिया जाएगा।
In Bihar, all major political parties are now busy finalizing their list of candidates for the second phase of elections. The nomination process of the second phase has started, but parties like BJP, Congress and RJD have not issued list of their candidates. Polling will be held in 94 assembly constituencies spread over 17 districts in this phase on the 3rd of November. BJP and Congress are likely to announce their list of candidates today. JDU has announced a list of 115 candidates for all the phases. A JDU candidate and former minister Manoj Kumar Kushwaha returned his party symbol from Meenapur constituency in Muzaffarpur district. He is willing to contest from Kudni assembly seat, which has gone to BJP in seat sharing. More from our correspondent.
Administrative preparations for the first phase of assembly elections in 71 assembly constituencies are in full swing. In this phase, mostly Naxal-affected areas will go to the polls. Several companies of Central Paramilitary Forces have arrived in poll-bound areas. Expenditure observers have also become active to check the use of black money. After the enforcement of Model Code of Conduct, so far 5 crore 75 lakh rupees has been seized by different agencies. The health department will provide a special COVID protection kit to poll personnel. It contains a face mask, sanitizer, gloves and other protective articles. According to COVID protocol of the Election Commission, hand gloves will be provided to voters on the day of the poll. Dharmendra Kumar Rai, AIR News, Patna.
The government has taken steps to cool down the recent increase in retail prices of tur and urad for the welfare of consumers and to augment supply of these pulses. Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution said in order to make the retail intervention more impactful, offer prices of pulses for retail intervention has been modified to the minimum support price, MSP, or the dynamic reserve price, DRP, whichever is lower. The ministry said accordingly, Dhuli Urad is being offered to states for retail intervention at the rate of 79 rupees per kilo for K18, that is stock of Kharif 2018, and 81 rupees per kilo for K19. Similarly, tur is being offered for retail intervention at 85 rupees per kilo. The Union Ministry of Agriculture has said that the export of essential agri-commodities for the cumulative period of April-September 2020 has increased by 43.4% to over 53,626 crore rupees as compared to nearly 37,397 crore rupees in the same period last year. The ministry said major commodity groups which have recorded positive export growth during April to September 2020 as compared to April to September 2019 are groundnut, refined sugar, wheat, basmati rice and non-basmati rice. It said India's agricultural export of essential agricultural commodities during September 2020 is 9,296 crore rupees against export of 5,114 crore rupees during September 2019, showing an increase of 81.7%.
To reduce the country's dependence on imported forest produce under the Indo-Self-Reliant India campaign, the Forest Department of Madhya Pradesh will invite private investors to work on the establishment of forest-based domestic industries and plantations in more than 37 lakh hectares of degraded forest area.
Currently, the country is importing more than 35,000 crores of forest produce and its byproducts. To reduce dependence on imports, the state government will invite private investors in degraded forest area and work on the establishment of forest-based domestic industries and plantations. Tourism in the plantation area will also be encouraged. The Forest Department of Madhya Pradesh has prepared an idea paper for this. Recently, this paper was discussed with Indian businessmen from home and abroad through webinar. 26 investors, including the Forest Minister of the state, took part in the discussion and showed enthusiasm to invest in Yojana. The discussion was organized by Confederation of India Industries, CII. Paritosh Dikshit, Akashvani Samachar, Bhopal.
In Maharashtra, Bharatiya Janata Party will hold a statewide agitation on Monday and Tuesday against the rising incidents of atrocities against women and state government's decision not to allow the opening of temples. Party's chief spokesperson Keshav Upadhyay, state president of BJP's Women's Wing Uma Khapre and state vice president of party's Women's Wing Chitra Wagh announced this at a press conference yesterday. Ms. Khapre said all the key office bearers of the party, including state BJP president Chandrakant Patil, will participate in the agitation tomorrow.
Minister of State for Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions Dr. Jitendra Singh has said that so far, interview for job has been abolished in 23 states and 8 union territories. He said this is a follow-up to the abolition of interview for Group B, non-gazetted and Group C posts in the central government ever since 2016. Dr. Singh said in the past there had been complaints, grievances and allegations about marks in interview being manipulated to help certain favoured candidates. He said the abolition of interview and considering only the written test marks as merit for selection offers an equal level playing field to all the candidates. This is All India Radio giving you the news.
चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं,
Today is International Day of the Girl Child. The day focuses attention on the need to address the challenges girls face and to promote girls' empowerment and the fulfillment of their human rights. In an exclusive interview with AIR News, resident representative for the United Nations Population Fund, India, and the country Bhutan, Ms. Argentina Matavel, has said that the United Nations hotline mechanism is providing mental support to young population during this pandemic time.
United Nations really early on partnered with government, be it at the central or state level, to make sure that key services did not stop. And of course I speak now on behalf of my colleagues who work on education like UNESCO, UNICEF, to make sure, for example, that number one, the education continued to happen even under lockdown. That's why you then have all these, we welcome the government's decision to provide online courses. But still you have many girls who have no access to the devices that are needed. So some remedial classes will have to be done now that we are slowly opening up. The United Nations also put in place hotlines, which were already some in existence, but we made sure that they did not stop providing mental support for young people.
The News Services Division of All India Radio, in its bilingual live phone-in program today, will bring you a special discussion program on COVID-19. Dr. Naresh Gupta, Senior Physician, Maulana Azad Medical College, will participate in the discussion. Listeners can ask questions to the experts on toll-free telephone numbers 1800-115767. You can also ask questions on telephone number 011-233-14444 and post queries on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts by hashtag AskAIR.
In French Open tennis, Rafael Nadal will take on Novak Djokovic in the men's singles final today. Nadal entered the final beating Diego Schwartzman 6-3, 6-3, 7-6. Djokovic defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas to set the summit clash with Nadal. Nadal, a 12-time French Open champion, will be aiming to equal Roger Federer's record of 20 Grand Slam titles. In women's singles, Polish teenager Iga Świątek has become the new French Open champion. She beat the American Sofia Kenin in the final 6-4, 6-1. The 19-year-old Świątek moves to 17th position in the world ranking. In Indian Premier League cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore rode on skipper Virat Kohli's unbeaten 90 of 52 balls to beat Chennai Super Kings by 37 runs in Dubai last night. Earlier, in another match in Abu Dhabi last evening, Kolkata Knight Riders beat Kings 11 Punjab by 2 runs. In today's matches, Sunrisers Hyderabad will take on Rajasthan Royals at 3:30 p.m. in Dubai, and Mumbai Indians will meet Delhi Capitals at 7:30 p.m. in Abu Dhabi.
Now, let us take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi will have mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was recorded at 21 degrees Celsius and maximum will be around 35 degrees. In Mumbai, there will be partly cloudy sky. The minimum temperature was 28 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 35 degrees. Chennai is likely to have cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. The temperature will hover between 25 and 33 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature in the metropolis was 27 degrees Celsius while the maximum will be around 35 degrees. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius in Jammu while the maximum will be around 34 degrees. The city will have mainly clear sky. Srinagar and Ladakh will have mainly clear sky while temperature in Srinagar will hover between 5 and 27 degrees Celsius. In Ladakh, the minimum temperature was -2 degrees Celsius and the maximum will be around 21 degrees. Gilgit will experience a partly cloudy sky. Temperature will hover between 8 and 28 degrees Celsius. In Muzaffarabad, there will be mainly clear sky. The minimum temperature was 14 degrees Celsius. The maximum will be around 33 degrees. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi says property cards under Swamitva scheme will bring historic changes in villages besides making people self-reliant. Government did more for villages in 6 years than what was done in earlier 6 decades, says Prime Minister. CBI takes over investigation of Hathras incident, registers case against the accused. COVID-19 recovery rate improves to 86.17%. In French Open, Rafael Nadal to take on Novak Djokovic in the men's singles title clash today And in IPL, Sunrisers Hyderabad to face Rajasthan Royals at Dubai and Mumbai Indians to clash with Delhi Capitals in Abu Dhabi. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the Midday News.